Hi, this is Allie, and this is my final project video. So for my subject of my photo shoot for this calendar, I actually went and took pictures of all my little sister's longhorns. And throughout all the photos, I mostly used point of view, movement, leading lines, kinda, and then a few others throughout for the elements and styles I used throughout. So for the first one, the ISO was 100, the aperture was 5.6, and the shutter speed was 1 out of 125. For my second image, it is ISO 200, aperture 4.5, and shutter speed 1 out of 2500. For my third, it was ISO 100, aperture 5.0, and shutter speed 1 out of 125. For this fourth one, it was ISO 100, aperture 4.5, shutter speed 1 out of 250. For the May picture, it was ISO 200, aperture 4.5, and shutter speed was 1 out of 2500. Then for June, it was ISO 200, aperture 5.6, and shutter speed 1 out of 1000. Then for the seventh photo, it was ISO 100, aperture 5.6, and shutter speed 1 out of 125. For my eighth picture, I used ISO 100, aperture 4.0, and shutter speed 1 out of 250. Then for September, I used ISO 100, aperture 5.6, shutter speed 1 out of 125. This next one was ISO 200, aperture 3.5, which I think is the lowest I used out of all of these. And then shutter speed 1 out of 2500. The 11th was ISO 100, aperture 5.6, and shutter speed 1 out of 125. And the final image was ISO 100, aperture 4.0, and shutter speed 1 out of 250. And as for the post-processing in Camera Raw and Photoshop, I didn't do much in Photoshop but resize the images. But in Camera Raw, I went through and edited, and I know I warmed up a lot of the pictures, and then I gave it more of a reddish tone, but I was looking at a couple different examples of styles I wanted in my portfolio and companies I was looking into job opportunities with. And so I really tried to style the pictures like what they had on their websites and Instagrams and other people used in their portfolios for them. But overall, I was really happy with how these turned out. Thank you.